You become the lie. You embody the lie. That's what the devil is, guys. It isn't some mystical force that's like horns and, like a half man, half goat with a tail. And like, he has like his little pitchfork and he's red and fire. And no, that doesn't exist. Just like God isn't some, gray-haired, bearded, 70, 80-year-old sage-looking, saint-looking, human-like thing. That's not, these are personifications of energies, light and dark, positive and negative. That's all it is. And then because we believe in them, and because the mind is so powerful that it creates, we perpetuate these mental images that we're projecting, these little slivers of consciousness, these little slices of the pie, these sections of thought and belief, feed into this devil, the energy. Like, Jesus has his awakening, right? Jesus gets baptized, and the symbology of this occurrence, right? This like event. He gets baptized by John, and the heavens open, and the dove comes down, and the Holy Spirit says, "This is my son," la 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 la, right? Like, ooh, listen to him. Guys, that's just a story. That's just symbolism for what it was like when he had his final awakening. In that moment that he was cleansed by John, he had his final enlightenment. And it all opened up and made sense to him. And he saw the lie from the truth. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta eliminate the lie. That's what I keep talking about, eliminate the lie. How do I know this about what happened then? Because I went through it myself. Okay? It takes one to know one. It's like you can't listen to these people that were saying all these things about what Jesus knew and what Jesus did because they don't have his understanding. Do you see? It's like trying to it's like you're at 70% knowing, trying to understand the full 100%. You're only going to get 70% of it at any given time, and it might even have been less depending on the topic or depending on the whatever, the feeling, the emotion, the notion, whatever. Okay? So Jesus wakes up, and next thing he goes, to be tempted by the devil in the desert, in the wilderness. And so a lot of people think that Jesus went in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, and he just sat there in the wilderness by himself, no food, no water, just him and the elements. And that's not what happened. Darius, how do you know you weren't there? Because I have common sense. Because it is symbolism, it is a story. And the 40 days and 40 nights is based on the Moses 40 days, guys. That's common sense, okay? But he did have his awakening, and he did get the temptation, and he did have that dialogue, and the way it plays out between him and the devil is largely what it sounds like in your mind. It's giving you an example of what it looks like when you're talking to yourself and you're trying to discern between the truth and the lie. The lie is going to come at you and it's going to sound like the devil, and it's going to say, I'm going to give you this, lust for power, lust for making yourself greater than God, lust for making, and it's like the stuff Jesus is dealing with is advanced shit. It's like the highest level shit, guys. It isn't the most basic stuff that everyday people deal with, okay? You will eventually when you ascend on your path, but like he's dealing with the core, most hardcore principles of what it means to be the God man. You get to this stage where you can sell out in chasing for the power and the lust and the more, to make yourself up more. He's like, I will tempt you with this physical world, which is all the devil can do. All the negative, the shadow, the element of evil can do is tempt you with all of the abundant stuff in the physical. That's why they were always like, Stay away from the flesh. Don't lose yourself in things. Give your things away, right? Because they understand that the physical is just an illusion. It's just temporary. We're just here to like participate a little bit and then we're done. Don't get lost in the physical, right? They understood this. Jesus understands this. And he's like, dude, be gone. And he was gone. So it was kind of like the final purge, the final purification. He's like, I no longer am trapped by the devil. And because he's so rooted in the light, because he identifies the truth, he now embodies the truth so powerfully that he can step out into the world and manifest miracles, manifest at will. He becomes the beacon. And what happens is that, like, because it's become religion, and because people, a lot of people that are Christian, and maybe some others, think that Jesus literally was God, and like that he's like, we've mythologized him and put him up on this platform. We think that that's only reserved for him and the likes of him. And he was trying to tell us that we can be like him. In fact, we are him. It's like, what are you saying, Darius? You think you're Jesus? I'm like, motherfucker, I am Jesus. And so are you. And this goes back to the point where, like, the story, the idea, the thought, the movie, the TV show, that entertainment, that knowledge that you hear and then listen and watch, that media becomes a part of you. You ingest it. Just like you take in food, you take in stories and media, and it comes up here, and then it filters down into you. And so, yeah, I'm Jesus, because I know who Jesus was and I know what his story is. Just like I know who Buddha was, so I am Buddha. Just how I know who Krishna was, so therefore I am Krishna, right? And I'm limited by what information I have about them. But if they spoke truth, and I recognize that truth, and then I take that truth and I embody that truth myself, I am them and they are me. And honestly, that's like the most advanced spirituality you can be. Is that you start to embody all of the archetypes. You start to embody all of the things that you've ever studied and come across. And any piece of information that you've learned in the past can just be brought up in the current moment because it's stored in you, and you can use it to like teach or speak about or use as an example to compare and contrast. That power lies in you too. These the movies that you watch that inspire you, that make you like, wow, this is like my favorite movie. I love The Matrix. I love Forrest Gump. I love Castaway and Groundhog Day and, you know, any other great inspirational movie, right? I can name hundreds of them, right? Because I've seen hundreds, maybe thousands of movies and shows, right? All of these pieces of different media, they themselves become the deity too, man. God doesn't care what story or mythology or movie or show you resonate with to help you wake up. He just cares that you wake up. Do you see? He doesn't care if you find your truth in Christianity. He doesn't care if you find it in Buddhism. He doesn't care if you find it in the movie The Matrix. And it's like we're slowly turning The Matrix into a mythology and into a religion almost. That the Matrix is like reality in the mind, and like Neo and you're Neo, right? It's kind of like the hero with 1,000 faces, right? It's that, like, you know, archetypal human need to like explore and be the chosen one, the adventure, the hero of your own story. And we all resonate with that because it's a part of who we are. We are all living our own personal adventure, but we're not most They're not waking up to the adventurous life that life can be for them. It's just mired in bullshit, mired in just like negativity. And I'm not one for like faking it till you make it and like, oh guys, just like toxic positivity and like, I'm not like that, no. What I'm saying is when you see through the illusion of the negative aspect of stuff, your truest self that comes to the forefront now that that negative stuff is off to the side, your truest self that comes forward by default is loving and compassionate and wonderful and charismatic, and people want to be around that energy because it's uplifting. Think about it, man. Let's be honest for a second, okay? Do you like hanging out with people that make you feel good? Or do you like hanging out with people that make you feel like shit? Do you see? And if you're honest with yourself, and if you have even just a little bit of self-awareness, you'll be like, well, sometimes I want to be around the people that make me feel like shit. And to that, I'm going to say, that's not the truest you that wants to be around that. It's the darker, mucky, devilish, demon, negative side of you that resonates with that and is drawing you to it. But the divine aspect of you is saying, no, man, keep me the fuck away from that shit, man. I want to go somewhere where my soul sings. I don't want to go and like live in the muck. And it's very difficult in the beginning to differentiate between those different aspects of you. It's very tricky. And the quote unquote devil is very cunning and manipulative and, you know, intoxicating at times. Because it has the full world. It has all of the possible physical experiences, literally anything you can think of is the devil's domain, is the shadow aspect domain, the negativity. Because if it exists in the physical, you can lose yourself in it. And that is the true sin. That is the only sin.